Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's session on stress management. By the end of today, you'll have practical tools you can start using immediately, not someday, but today. Let's get started. Here's what we'll cover together today. We'll start by understanding what stress actually is, scientifically and practically. Then we'll look at how your body responds to it, and how to recognize your own personal warning signs. From there, we'll move into practical techniques, breathing, movement, time management, and cognitive tools. We'll close by building your personal action plan. What is stress? Before we can manage stress, we need to understand what it actually is. Let's start with the definition on the left. Stress is the body's response to any demand. Notice it says real or perceived. That's important. Our brains can't always tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. Let's walk through the three types. Eustress. Think about that feeling before a big presentation or a first date. Your heart is racing, but you feel alive and focused. That's eustress. It's helpful stress. Acute stress. This is the short burst when something intense happens, an argument, a near miss in traffic. It spikes, and then it fades. Chronic stress. This is what we really need to address today. When stress never turns off, it begins to erode your health, your relationships, and your performance. Our goal today isn't to have zero stress. It's to manage it skillfully. The stress response. When you encounter a stressor, a tough email, a conflict at work, a traffic jam, your brain treats it like a physical threat. Here's what happens in seconds. 1. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm center, fires off a signal. 2. Your hypothalamus tells your adrenal glands to flood your body with adrenaline and cortisol. 3. Your heart races. Your muscles tense. Your breathing quickens. Your digestion slows. Your immune system takes a back seat. This is brilliant if you're being chased by a tiger. But here's the irony. Your body can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and an urgent Slack message from your boss. The problem isn't the response itself. It's that in modern life, the off switch rarely gets activated. The cortisol keeps flowing. That's chronic stress. The signs and symptoms of stress. Stress doesn't just live in your head. It shows up everywhere. Research shows that stress affects us in 4 interconnected ways. Let's walk through each quadrant. Physical. Your body keeps the score. Many people visit the doctor for headaches, back pain, or digestive issues, and the root cause is chronic stress. Your body is sending you a message. Emotional. When you're snapping at people for no reason, feeling dread on Sunday evenings, or bursting into tears unexpectedly, that's emotional stress talking. Cognitive. Notice how you make more mistakes when you're stressed, or forget things that would normally be easy to remember. Cortisol actually shrinks the prefrontal cortex, your decision-making center. Behavioral. These are the coping patterns we fall into. Comfort eating, drinking more coffee or alcohol, avoiding people, doom scrolling. They give temporary relief but amplify the problem. Breathing and mindfulness. Here's something remarkable. Your breath is the only bodily function that is both automatic and under your conscious control. That makes it your most accessible tool against stress. Available 24/7, free, and it works within minutes. Box breathing. Navy SEALs use this before missions. If it works under actual combat conditions, it'll work for that difficult meeting. Mindfulness. When anxious thoughts spiral, this technique pulls your mind back to the present. It's impossible to be overwhelmed by the future or past when your senses are anchored in now. Physical well-being. We often treat our bodies as vehicles for our minds, but the truth is, they are completely interconnected. How you treat your body is one of the most powerful stress management tools available. Movement. You don't need a gym membership or an hour a day. Research shows that even a brisk 10-minute walk can significantly reduce anxiety and improve mood. Exercise burns off excess adrenaline and cortisol, literally clearing the stress chemicals from your body. Start small. Park farther away. Take the stairs. Walk at lunch. Sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs the damage stress causes. When you're sleep deprived, your stress response is amplified. You become more reactive, less creative, and more impulsive. Protecting your sleep is not laziness. It's a performance strategy. Nutrition. I want to call out caffeine specifically. Many of us reach for coffee when stressed, but caffeine triggers the same fight-or-flight hormones as stress. It can amplify anxiety. Reducing caffeine, even a little, can make a notable difference. Time management. Time pressure is one of the single biggest sources of workplace stress. Feeling behind, overwhelmed, and reactive is a recipe for chronic stress. Let's talk about a framework that transforms how you work. Eisenhower Matrix. President Eisenhower, famous for his productivity, asked himself a simple question. Is this task urgent? And is it important? Those two questions create 4 categories. The biggest trap most people fall into is Quadrant 1, spending all their time in urgent and important crisis mode. The secret is building Quadrant 2 habits, scheduling the important things before they become urgent. Cognitive reframing. This is one of the most powerful tools in all of stress management, and it lives entirely inside your own mind. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck and cognitive behavioral therapists shows that our internal narrative, the story we tell ourselves, is one of the primary drivers of stress. The event itself is rarely as powerful as our interpretation of it. Let's walk through the examples. Look at the first pair. Both statements are about being busy, but one creates spiral anxiety and paralysis, while the other creates a calm, problem-solving mindset. The situation is identical. The thought is different. Key technique. When you notice a catastrophic thought forming, your heart racing, your mind going to worst-case scenarios, pause. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Is this thought 100% true, or am I assuming the worst? 2. What's a more balanced, realistic way to see this? 3. What would I say to a good friend in this situation? Your thoughts are not facts. You have more control over your inner narrative than you may realize. Building resilience. Stress management isn't just about reducing stress. It's about building the capacity to absorb it, adapt to it, and grow stronger because of it. That's resilience. Social support. Research consistently shows that the #1 protective factor against the negative effects of stress is having people you can be honest with. Not venting sessions, but real, trusting relationships. When did you last genuinely connect with someone at work or at home? Self-compassion. High performers often have incredibly harsh inner critics. Self-compassion isn't self-pity. Research by Dr. Kristen Neff shows it actually increases motivation and reduces burnout. The next time you make a mistake, ask, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Purpose and meaning. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote that those who found meaning in suffering were more likely to survive. You don't need to endure extremes, but connecting your work to something that matters to you changes everything. Gratitude. 3 things a day for 3 weeks. Write them down. Brain imaging shows this literally rewires neural pathways toward positivity. It's simple, takes 2 minutes, and the evidence is powerful. Workplace strategies. So far we've covered internal techniques, breathing, exercise, mindset. Now let's get practical about the specific stressors you face at work. These are the situations that come up every week. Difficult conversations. Most workplace stress isn't about the work itself. It's about the people dynamics. The I feel statement technique from Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication is transformative. It reduces defensiveness and keeps conversation productive. Always on culture. Boundaries aren't about being less committed. They're about being sustainably committed. Chronic availability leads to burnout, which serves no one. Model boundary setting for your team. Perfectionism and fear. Ask, what percentage of tasks in my role truly require perfection? Usually it's 20% or less. For everything else, good enough done beats perfect and never finished. Workload overload. This is a systemic issue that requires honest conversation with managers. We'll equip you with language to have that conversation without sounding like you're complaining. And thank you for joining today's session.